I think it's great that I get to go on Twitter and like basically say what I want to say politically, and not be as worried. And it's also because of the work I do, but not be as worried about what's going to happen. But at the same time, in the case of the Capitol shooting, is it social media's responsibility, or should the cable companies have like made sure they had their things together?
Well, I think like any news source or any individual that is putting information out there about an ongoing investigation or anything in general, if it's like, it's your responsibility as the reader or the person tuning into media to also be informed enough to say that, or look for other places to get your information in addition to not that one source. I mean, because CNN has gotten it wrong, MSNBC has gotten it wrong. So I think there's no, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where media outlets are never going to get it wrong. But I do think as an informed listener or reader, you have to be willing to look for other sources to also corroborate that story. And also, like, I think the benefits outweigh the downsides of social media, because you're able to get information at a speed and across distances that would normally not have happened. Like, you're able to learn about wars or civil uprisings in other countries that the media may not be talking about, or mainstream media may not be talking about. So I think the benefits outweigh some of the drawbacks.
What about you, Anna?
I think I definitely agree with Jamira that the benefits outweigh any negative, but I do think that people, and young people especially, need to be conscious that the media gets it wrong, no matter what form it's coming from, whether it's the news station or Twitter. Like, you have to be an informed citizen to know to step back and say what is really happening and where can I find out what's really happening, and that may not be from one certain news source. But I think the fact that Twitter gives people the ability to know that there is something happening right away is really important. Like, to people know that something like the Capitol shooting or whatever happened, like, instantly. It was like 10 minutes after, and it's all on Twitter, and like, that's a new way of being informed. And it's like, it's really intense. But it's also like a really big...
have this large responsibility, but it also opens up the avenue for citizen journalists. And the definition of journalism is changing. Like someone like Michael Skolnick, who's Global Grind and Russell Simmons' political director, he does breaking news and like live tweets news all the time. And people always ask him, you always have somebody asking him, this is what he does all the time, but you always have somebody asking, are you a journalist or something? So it's just like, so what does that mean now? Because I have a Twitter account just like you. I have a phone just like you. I have a computer just like you. I can gain access to information just like you. So it's interesting. There are definitely pros and cons, just like it's pros and cons to everything. But I think it puts the power in our own hands. And social media is an actual real democracy now, because the playing field is pretty level. Most of the people, like you talked about Black Twitter,